Hi YouTube, this is the Nutty Fruit Hollow. We are back today. This is Sunday, a week after we jacked up the house. Here with my son Brad. Say hello.
Hi.
We are here to finish up some drywall. So in the first episode you saw us putting up, I'm going to try and adjust this. You saw us putting up some drywall. Yesterday's video that I posted, we finished putting up the drywall and we started mudding and taping all of it. Today's episode, we are back. We sanded the dining room and stuff. We still have to sand the living room, and we still have to put the second coat on. So that's today's video. This is part 3. If you haven't seen part 2 and part 1, go back, watch those. We'll take you step by step. And I also wanted to just explain a few things that, you know, these videos that I'm posting, or in no means are we experts at any of this. We have some rentals. We've done a lot of this work. This is our house that we're going to be moving to. It's on 6 acres, and our biggest thing is that we want to be able to move in at the end of September. So that is the big push right now. After we jacked up the house, everything should be going together pretty fairly quickly. I am off work next week. We're going to be doing a lot next week. Painting, laying subfloor, putting in the vinyl flooring, putting in the wood flooring in the living room. We are just going to be really working hard to get it all put together. We'll be putting in cabinets. We are going to use the old cabinets. We are rearranging them. So you'll get to see a little bit about how we're going to figure out all of that and things like that. So I just wanted to let you know that, you know, this is strictly educational for you, just to show you what we've done. By no means that we are experts. If you're not sure of how to do something, I hope that this will give you a guide as to what you do and what you don't want to do. I make some mistakes, you know, so maybe you'll learn from my mistakes, and we'll go from there. But anyways, let's get right to the video. All right, so this is where we're at, and you can hear in the background, that's the fan blowing. We need the fan going because there's a lot of dust. Okay, so I wanted to give you a chance to see what we all use. We have 2 trays, and they're both paint trays. Let me just tell you first, if you go to Lowe's or even Home Depot, I don't know if Home Depot's like this, but these are paint trays. They have a metal edge on both sides, and that allows you to clean your spackling. But let me just tell you, if you get these, they're like 12 inches long, about what, 4 inches deep, and they're $3.46 each in the painting department. Now, if you go over to the drywall department, where the lumber is, you'll see blue ones, the exact same size. I checked them, and they are $4.88. So just watch that stuff. I mean, just because it's blue, they're going to charge you another almost $2 for it. Make sure, you know, just these ones are in the painting, and they are the exact same size, the exact same thing. Okay, so one of the things we did do this morning is we added water. We had to buy another bucket. We had to add water to it. Go ahead, put it back down. You see how if he puts it down and pulls it up, it just leaves like a little cone shape. It's the consistency of, I would say, pudding.
Smooth.
It is very smooth. We added water to it. Do not use joint compound directly from the bucket if you want it to be a nice finish. I learned that the hard way. It is way too thick. And yeah, you do not want to mix this by hand. We used one of these, hooked it up to a drill, and we added water until it got to the consistency of pudding. But you see how it will actually leave markings as it drops down, that's what you want. You don't want it so thin that it won't stand up, but you also don't want it so thick that it's just, you'll see when you get a bucket. It's very, very thick. You put your finger in it and pretty much it's this consistency of, what is it when you buy it?
Really thick Play-Doh.
Really, yeah, that's pretty good. Play-Doh. You want it nice and thin like this, like pudding. That's how you're going to get it. And you see how he's using his side edge? He's cleaning his spatula and his putty knife. So he's going to do a little bit for us. We're going to go and hit all of the nail holes yet again. There you go. You just push down and just go across it. And now you have to do the nail holes again, because one thing about joint compound you will find is that when you put it on and it dries, joint compound, I call it mud, joint compound will shrink. So then you got divots again in your holes, and you just go back through on the second time and just put another one in, and it won't shrink as much and it will stay nice and straight. You see he's trying to get as much off as he can and making it nice and straight, so we don't have much sanding to do on these. We probably don't even need to sand on these ones. Get up above and pull some of that off.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can do one that's really, come over on this side. I think you have to come over here so I can find one. Okay, so you see that? There's a divot in the hole right there. That's from it drying. You gonna do that one first? Go ahead, do that one first up there. So he puts it on, and then you just scrape it off. Same thing, puts it on, scrape it off. That's how easy it is. Nail holes are probably the easiest thing to do, and you need to like hammer that in or something.
What is that? Is that where that nail was?
Probably. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go through and do all of the nail holes first, and we'll be right back. Alright. Came across a little bit of a problem I wanted to show you. So the paper was bubbling right here, and we couldn't figure out why. But here, when we put one of the screws in, it went too far up in, and it wasn't actually holding the drywall anymore. So now we're going to have to remove the screw. We tore the paper off where it was bubbling. We got to remove the screw, and we're going to just spackle it all in. So go ahead, Brad.
This will take a second coat for sure.
Yeah, it's going to need to. Alright, here, I'll go over it with my large one. Get a little bit on there. Okay, I'm going to leave it just like that. We'll sand it down to be flush then. So now when you look at it, you don't see this great big bubble, and that will be sanded and nice and smooth and stuff, so we're good. Huh? Oh, I showed them what we were doing. So we've gone through and we've hit all the nails again. As you see, the darker is on the nail. That shows that it's wet. So we've gone through and redid all of the nail holes. So all the nails are finished throughout the whole house. Well, throughout the whole kitchen. Next, we're going to go ahead and tackle this seam right here, put a second coat on it. And do you want to videotape it? And I'll go ahead and get it done. Okay. Again, I'm no expert at this. Watch the YouTube video, they make it look so darn easy, but let me just tell you, it's not that easy. So, get some mud in there, make sure it's all to one side. You're going to come in, put some mud on there. We're just going to start right here and go across. See how much mud I'm putting in? I'm just spreading it across, and then I'm going to come back over. Whoa! Yeah. Told you I'm no expert. Oh my! Don't let Darren see that one. You notice I put that on the other side. Alright. Come back across this. Do that number. Just going to use what's already on here. And go one more time. And there we go. And that will be all sanded. And I don't need all this up here. So I'll just pull that down. There we go. Gonna do the other side. See, when it gets down on the thing, you really got to get it back up on the end of it to be able to do that. Pull back. Pull back. And we're going to run from this side now. Pull back.
So in short, you gotta think of it like a paintbrush here. You gotta
Pretty
do
much.
smooth, long strokes.
Smooth, long strokes. You do not want to push real hard. This is a little tougher right here because of the fact that I had that nail coming out. Alright, that's going to be good enough. I don't want to be playing around with too much of this. So again, I got to come over here. I got to finish that end. Get the bead on the top. Just like that. And I'm going to try and do this in one swoop here. Just like so. See, this is where I told you I'm no expert at this, but I will get it. It just takes me a little while to get it. And if somebody knows how to do drywall, they're probably saying you're trying to be too darn perfect. Oh, I know. Perfectionism, there I am. tell you I need this on a little thicker. Alright, I'm going to leave it like that. I think that's good. I can still see the tape. That's how I know there's not enough on it. And I need more mud. Let me grab some more mud. Alright. Now we're over to here. Same thing. I got to get around that, so it's going to be a little tougher to do. Smooth it on. Get your bead at the end. Smooth it on. Get your bead at the end. I got to start at this side now. Constantly clean your trowel. Always want the bead on the corner at the end of your thing. And what you're doing is that I'm not pushing down real hard. I'm just gliding it across to get it on. And then once I get it all on, I got to get this corner right here. Just like so. Once you get it all on, put a little bit on your spatula. You're going to want to clean up. I'm going to go in and clean up. I'm going to go in and clean up. And finally, just like that. It's easy if you're not trying to go around the whole entire thing, outlets and stuff like that. You could do a real nice job. But when you're trying to go around things, it's tough. And I'm just going to put one nice coat across this. Just like that. Just like that. That's it. That's all I'm doing for that. When we go to sand, we'll sand it out. It'll look pretty good. We'll sand it nice and smooth. You know what? I'm not even going to touch that. It's going to be sanded. Don't play around if you don't need to play around. I need more mud.
As you can see, we got quite a bit of tape on these walls, all the corners, around the window edges, all the taping that goes along these areas here, up along the corners again, going all the way across, anywhere that any of the two pieces of drywall meet. And then when we finish the walls, we have to do the entire ceiling. You can see tons of tape just running across it, large streaks. This is probably the most difficult part out of all of it, aside from just reaching up, but to keep everything smooth as you're doing it. So we'll get another video here shortly, and we'll see you soon.
Alright, so I just finished up the window at the top. Got to clean that up right there, but we got to wait till it dries. Let me just tell you, it probably took me about 20 tries. And down here, I just noticed I messed up a little bit. See that? Alright, let's put that on. I ain't worried about that. That looks good. Let's puttying this thing up.
He puts a whole bunch on at first and then just runs it across.
So you get nice and smooth.
Just like that. Again, all we did was watch YouTube videos.
I watched 2 videos.
Well, yeah, Brad keeps saying, because when I asked him to help, he said, you know, I could figure it out. And I said, Brad, it's not like you could watch a YouTube video and be an expert. This is a skill all of its own. We were looking for a professional that wanted to do some extra side work and stuff, but I couldn't find anybody who was willing to do it. So was willing to pay him about $450, but that was about all I could afford, just to have him in just the mud. All the drywall up was us. But tape and mud is all I wanted, but I know that's not a lot of money. But I was hoping I could find somebody young who knew how to do it and can whip it out in like a couple hours. I know it took us 2 hours to tape and mud this whole room, and it took us an hour to do the living room. So an expert would have like boom, 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 and been done in an hour and a half, and that was it. And I was willing to do all the sanding. So, but that's where we're at. We got this wall's done. This wall's done. Next is that wall. Don't know how much we're doing over there. There's a couple wet spots, but we're gonna see what we can do. Be right back. Second coat is done. It went a little bit easier since we didn't have to do any taping, but it is finished. We'll wait for it to dry. We'll give it a couple days. I'll come in and I'll sand, and then we'll start putting in the plumbing and finish up the drywall on those couple spots so we can finish that up, and then it's time to paint. Oh. Remember, this is 7 days now after we jacked up the house. So he is finishing we ran out of mud. So we didn't get this one spot. So he is finishing that up and putting a piece of tape on it. And we're gonna go around and do all the edges, get a second coat on all the other ones on the ceiling, and then we're gonna call it a day today. I'm going to come in Tuesday, and I'm going to just start sanding this room. A lot of sanding needs done. But try and get the edges and try and get at least the second coat on the ceiling, because that's the hard part for me. I got a bad shoulder. And while I have the help, I'm going to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and videotape him doing this. So all he did is he put some joint compound up. And now he's going to get a piece of tape. And this is just paper, basically. They call it drywall tape. And to cut it, you just rip it. So let me show you this drywall tape real closely. You see how it has a nice little bead on it? It'll let you do straight, perfect corners and stuff. But for us, we're using it flat. So this tape is for everything. This tape is not only just for your seams, it's for your corners, outside corners, inside corners, things like that. So he puts the tape right where the seam is. Making sure it's straight. You don't want any bubbles. You need some, I got some in mine. You start in the middle and you run it across. There's your tape. That's good, Brad. And that's it. Now we let it dry. It needs to be sanded, and then we can put the second coat on. We're only doing 2 coats, so. And now we're going to go ahead and start on a corner, and we'll show you how that's done when we get to a point. We got to get it all mudded up first. Alright, so I showed you we finished all this up. We're now over on this side, working on the drywall pieces and getting the joints done. First we had to go up top. We're leaving the rafters just like this, and put in some wood on the top. But there were so many spiders up through there, we had to vacuum them all up first. So, and then I also had a lot of dust from sanding, and I knew it was all lead dust, so we went down and cleaned the floor first and get all the dust off of it and make sure that we were good. And now he's getting ready to do that corner. Okay, let me show you what he's done here. So all he did is he just gooped on some joint compound on both sides, and now he's got his tape, his drywall tape. And he's going to go ahead and bend it and make sure it's nice and... Remember I told you it has a little divot in the middle, so it's perfect, so you can use it for corners as well as seams. So he got that all done, and he's going to start at the top. Huh? Are you going to start at the bottom?
Yep. So what you want to do is you just want to press it in here very lightly. I'm not putting any kind of force into it. I don't want to over press into it. You just want to stick it into the corner. once you reach the ends, the easiest way to do it is to actually turn it around. So instead of pulling the way you want, here I'm actually going to come to the end and I'm going to push very lightly. And squeeze out the final excess and leave you a nice clean finish. And now I'll come back through, and this is where this starts actually mattering. So I can come up here and I can run down and give me nice clean strokes. Remember, long strokes, keep it nice and clean. Now remember, I will say this, they do make a trial for the corner. We don't have one, and you don't necessarily need one, as you can see. All I'm trying to do now is I just want to try and clean some of this off of the tape itself. Give me that nice smooth look. And I'll run back down this. Not too much on there. There we go.
Measure corner.
That piece is done.
Well, we finished up the dining room. Everything's taped, cleaned up a little bit. Floor's all nice and clean. Well, as much as it's going to get until I lay the subfloor. But everything is just coming together. Really nice. And we are done for the day. We're sore from yesterday and gotta let this all dry anyways before we can sit there and sand. So this will be part 3. I guess there's going to be a part 4. So after we got all done with all of our drywall in here in the dining room, Darren finally decides to show up. After we were done. Just kidding.
Hoping the living room was done too.
Just kidding. He went to church, but don't pull no more. He's just gonna fall. But we got the subfloor out from in the bathroom there, and I moved this, and there was a little piece of subfloor there. We took that out, and we're removing this wood here, this wood siding, because we're gonna replace it with the same stuff that's over there. And lo and behold, check this out. It's got like a design or something on it. I don't know if it's like old wallpaper or something. It's burlapish. Yeah, burlapish. Maybe an old sack that they used. But, wow, is that cool or what? I wanted to get a video. So what is all this stuff? Is that termites? Is that the result of termites? But I wanted to show you what we exposed, and he's just going to keep going up the line and take us off.